The cats began to wonder whether Jane truly loved them anymore. After watching her continue like this, the cat made a difficult decision. It thought, I can't keep living this way. One day, I will leave this place and find a way to survive on my own, because I cannot continue like this. This is the story of Jane, a young woman who loved her cats so much that she couldn't imagine life without them. Then one day, her boyfriend broke her heart in such a painful way that she completely lost herself. She wandered around the neighborhood in tears, crying day and night. She stopped eating, and sadly, her cats also went hungry because she could no longer take proper care of them. Days passed without food as they all suffered from the effects of her heartbreak. One of the cats began to wonder whether Jane truly loved them anymore. After watching her continue like this, the cat made a difficult decision. It thought, I can't keep living this way. One day, I will leave this place and find a way to survive on my own, because I cannot continue like this. Jane loved her cats with all her heart. They weren't just pets, they were her family, her comfort, and her only source of happiness. But everything changed the day her boyfriend shattered her heart. The pain was so overwhelming that she lost the strength to carry on. Every day, she wandered around the neighborhood in tears, crying endlessly and hoping he would come back. She stopped eating, stopped smiling, and slowly shut herself off from the world. As Jane's heartbreak grew deeper, her beloved cats began to suffer too. Their food bowls remained empty. They watched the person they loved fade away with each passing day, unable to understand why she no longer cared for herself, or for them. One small black cat looked at Jane with sad, confused eyes. It couldn't understand how someone who once loved them so deeply could let them go hungry. Day after day, the cat waited, hoping things would get better. Finally, the little cat made a heartbreaking decision. If I stay here, it thought, I may not survive. I love Jane, but I can't watch us both waste away. Jack the cat lay quietly in the corner, his stomach empty and his heart heavy. He sighed and whispered to himself, tomorrow, I'm leaving. Jane will wake up and find me gone. She'll sit here, lost in her own thoughts, just like every day since her heart was broken. She may not even notice until it's too late. Jack looked at Jane with sadness in his eyes. At dawn, I'll follow the school bus out of this neighborhood. Wherever I end up in Lagos, I'll survive. Whether someone rescues me or I have to search the streets for food. I'll survive. I can't keep living like this. How long can anyone live without food? How much longer am I supposed to suffer? Is this really love? A tear rolled down his furry face. I wish I could stay, but this is goodbye. He took one last look at Jane. I love you, Jane. I know you love me too. But love isn't just about holding on. Love also means caring, feeding, and protecting. The moment Jane saw Jack sitting inside the school bus, her heart skipped a beat. Jack, Jack, she screamed at the top of her lungs. She ran after the bus, waving her hands desperately. Please stop, Jack, don't leave me. But the school bus kept moving, disappearing farther down the road. No matter how loudly she cried, no matter how fast she ran, it was beyond her power to stop it. Refusing to give up, Jane rushed downstairs and began shouting through the neighborhood. Has anyone seen that school bus? Which way did it go? She knocked on doors, questioned strangers, and searched every nearby street, hoping someone had seen where the bus was headed. But no one could give her an answer. There was no sign of the bus. No information, no clue where Jack had gone. As the reality sank in, Jane stood frozen in silence. The one friend she loved so deeply had vanished before her eyes, and all she could do was hope that somehow, somewhere, Jack would find his way back home. One afternoon, while walking through another neighborhood, she spotted a young man who looked remarkably like the driver she had seen on the school bus. Her heart raced as she hurried toward him. Please, she said, almost out of breath. Have you seen a school bus with a cat inside? I'm looking for my cat, Jack. The young man looked at her with confusion. I'm sorry, he replied. I don't know anything about your cat. It's just a cat. Why are you so worried? Go home and get some rest. You can't keep searching like this. Jane quickly shook her head. No, she said firmly. It's not just a cat. I saw my cat inside a school bus. I know what I saw. I'm not crazy. The young man sighed. Madam, do you know the name of the school? Do you know the school bus company? Can you describe the bus? Do you know the plate number? Do you even have a photo or a video that could help anyone identify it? Jane lowered her head. She had none of those things. The young man gently replied, "Then how do you expect anyone to help you? Please, go home and get some rest." Jane stood there in silence. Tears filled her eyes, but deep inside, she knew one thing. That night, Jane returned home with a heavy heart. As she lay awake, tears streamed down her face. She whispered to herself, "How could my boyfriend, the man I loved with all my heart, leave me? And now, where is my Jack? The only friend who brought me joy, the only one who made me smile every single day, has disappeared too." She stared at the ceiling, unable to sleep. What am I supposed to do with my life now? Why is life treating me this way? Have I done something to deserve all this pain? Is this how other people live? Is this what life is supposed to be? The questions never stopped, but no answers came. Day after day, Jane cried until she had no tears left. Every morning she woke up with the same sadness, and every night she went to bed feeling even more alone. She hardly spoke to anyone anymore. The heartbreak from losing the man she loved, combined with the disappearance of her beloved cat, Jack, had completely changed her life. The once cheerful and hopeful Jane had become quiet, lonely. Jack wandered through the busy streets of Lagos, hungry, tired, and alone. Every day was a struggle to survive. He searched everywhere for food and a safe place to rest, hoping that someone would show him kindness. One afternoon, Jack noticed a small restaurant where people were eating and laughing. The delicious smell of food drifted through the air. He quietly walked inside and sat near a table, hoping someone would notice him. At that table sat a kind-hearted man named Dan. Dan looked at Jack with curiosity and asked, "Do I know you?" Jack smiled gently and replied, "My name is Jack." There was something about Jack that touched Dan's heart. Instead of chasing him away, Dan listened to his story. The two talked for a long time, and before they knew it, they had become friends. From that day on, Dan never allowed Jack to go hungry. Whenever he visited the restaurant, he made sure Jack had something to eat. For the first time in a long while, Jack felt that he was no longer alone. As their friendship grew stronger, hope slowly returned to Jack's life. He never imagined that someone would spend so much money just to sit down, listen to his story, and treat him with kindness. As they sat together at the restaurant, Jack was surprised by how genuine Dan was. He thought to himself, "Maybe I have finally found a true friend, someone who accepts me for who I am." Dan wasn't expecting anything in return. Helping others came naturally to him, and that kindness touched Jack's heart. While they were chatting, a beautiful white woman walked into the restaurant. She smiled warmly as she approached their table. "Hello," Jack said politely. "How are you doing? It's nice to meet you." She smiled back. "I'm doing well. Nice to meet you too." "You're welcome." Jack had no idea that the woman standing before him was actually the owner of the restaurant. She greeted them warmly and asked, "Gentlemen, what would you like to have today?" Without hesitation, Jack smiled and replied, "I'm very, very hungry." The woman laughed softly. "Then don't worry. Today, you'll have a meal you'll never forget." Jack looked at Dan with a grateful smile, feeling that this day might be the beginning of a brand new chapter in his life. Dan looked at Jack with concern and gently said, "Slow down, my friend. Take it easy. The way you're eating, it looks like you haven't had a proper meal in a very long time." Jack paused for a moment, looked at Dan, and nodded. "You're right," he said quietly. "I'm very, very hungry, so hungry. It feels like I haven't eaten in ages." Dan smiled warmly. "You're welcome here, my friend. Tell me, what would you like to eat? And before that, what brought you here?" Jack's smile slowly disappeared. His eyes became filled with sadness. "I miss Jane," he whispered. "I miss her so much. I can't live without her." But after her boyfriend broke her heart, everything changed. She stopped cooking, stopped taking care of herself, and in the process, I was starving too. Jack then narrated everything that had happened in Jane's house, how her heartbreak affected both of them, the hunger, the loneliness, and why he finally decided to leave in search of food and a better life. As Dan listened, his heart became heavy with pity. "I'm so sorry you've been through all that," Dan said softly. "Now tell me, what would you like to eat?" Jack faintly and replied, "Anything will be fine." Without wasting another second, Jack excitedly shouted, "Waiter, waiter, waiter." The waiter hurried over to their table. "Yes, sir," the waiter said politely with a smile. "How may I help you today?" Jack's face lit up with joy. For the first time in a long while, he looked truly happy, knowing that a warm meal was finally within reach. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss the next episode. Your support means the world to us and helps us keep creating more amazing stories for you. Thank you, and God bless you abundantly. We love you so much, and we'll see you in the next episode.